you on Kakaaki, the African Voice today. Fresh turbulence has hit the African Democratic Congress as a third faction emerged on Tuesday, further complicating the party's leadership battle. The new group has officially dissociated itself from both the Senator David Mark-led coalition and the Nafiu Bala faction, and they are claiming to be the only legitimate authority within the party. The state chairman firm, led by Don Norman Obina, announced the takeover of the party's National Executive Committee, NEC. At a media briefing in Abuja on Tuesday, the group, which is loyal to the 2023 presidential candidate of the party, Dumebi Kachiku, declared that neither of the warring factions has the constitutional right to lead. The conflict dates back to July 2025, when former chairman Ralph Nwosu handed over leadership to a coalition led by Senator David Mark. The Obina-led group wants the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to uphold its recent decision to derecognize the Mark-led leadership. This new twist is a further setback for the African Democratic Congress, ADC, coming at a time that the factions loyal to both David Mark and Nafiu Bala Gombe were trying to navigate their way out of the face-off. Where does the ADC go from here? Is there any way to resolve the crisis and present a credible opposition to the All Progressives Congress, APC, as the clock ticks towards the 2027 general elections? Well, we'll be seeking answers to this question from a neutral perspective as we are joined by Kenneth Eze. Kenneth Eze is Executive Lead, Speak Out Africa Initiative, and a keen watcher of political development in the countdown to the 2027 elections. This, along with your regular favorite newspaper review, Kakaaki Social and Entertainment and Lifestyle, makes Kakaaki the ideal program to start your Wednesday today. Remember that you can be part of the program, and that will be by sending your views and your comments to all our social media platforms on Facebook, X, Instagram, and on YouTube. We are Africa Independent TV. Now, this is key because we would like for you to stay up to date with the latest news from around the world. Talking about latest news, you will now join me on Kakaaki World News Desk for news from around the world. Stay with us. Welcome. This is Kakaaki News. We begin from Israel, where an Israeli airstrike has killed at least 10 Palestinians and wounded several others near a school, sheltering displaced families in central Gaza. Health officials confirmed the casualties as violence escalated around the Magazi refugee camp on Monday.
The attack followed clashes between residents and members of an Israeli-backed militia, reportedly attempting to abduct individuals at the school. Medics and witnesses said tensions quickly spiraled into heavy confrontations in the densely populated area. According to Al-Aqsa Metea Hospital, at least 10 people were killed and dozens injured, including several in critical condition. Witnesses reported that Israeli drones fired 2 missiles during the clashes, striking civilians gathered near the school. Residents in the area said they attempted to defend themselves and their homes before the airstrike hit. Ahmed Al-Maghzi identified the victims as civilians caught in the crossfire during the escalation. A militia leader later claimed that fighters killed 5 Hamas members during the incident, though this remains unverified. There was no immediate response from Hamas regarding the claims or the broader confrontation. Despite being designated a safe zone earlier in the war, Maghazi camp has repeatedly come under attack since the conflict began. The latest strike adds to ongoing violence in Gaza, where even ceasefire periods have failed to halt deadly incidents.
And Asian nations have moved to secure critical shipping access through the Strait of Hormuz as tensions linked to the Iran war disrupt global energy flows. The agreement comes amid escalating threat from Donald Trump warning Iran to reopen the vital waterway.
Several countries, including Pakistan, India, and the Philippines, have negotiated arrangements with Iran to allow safe passage for their vessels. These deals reflect growing urgency among energy-dependent economies to maintain supply chains despite ongoing conflict risks. The Strait of Hormuz, which carries about a fifth of global energy shipments, has become a geopolitical flashpoint following Iranian retaliation to U.S. and Israeli strikes. Oil prices have surged as uncertainty over shipping security continues to unsettle global markets. The Philippines recently confirmed an agreement after talks led by Foreign Affairs Secretary Teresa Lazaro, securing assurances for safe transit of its flagged ships. The country's heavy reliance on Middle Eastern oil has intensified its need for diplomatic engagement with Iran. Analysts say the deals highlight a shift toward pragmatic diplomacy as nations prioritize energy security. However, the questions remain about whether Iran's guarantees apply broadly or only to specific vessels. China has also confirmed some of its ships have transited the strait, underscoring its strategic ties with Iran. Despite these developments, uncertainty persists over the long-term stability of this arrangement and the future governance of the waterway.
United States President Donald Trump has declared a final deadline for Iran to agree to terms ensuring free passage through the Strait of Hormuz. The warning comes as diplomatic efforts intensify to end the ongoing regional conflict.
Trump stated that a proposal from Iran to end hostilities was insufficient to prevent potential U.S. military action. He emphasized that the deadline set for Tuesday would not be extended under any circumstances. The Strait of Hormuz remains a critical global oil route, carrying about 20% of the world's supply during peacetime. Rising tensions in the region have already contributed to volatility in global energy markets. A 45-day ceasefire proposal put forward by Pakistan was rejected by Iran, which instead called for a permanent end to the war. Iranian officials outlined conditions including sanctions relief, reconstruction, and guarantees against future attacks. The White House confirmed that the discussions were ongoing, but noted that Trump had not approved the ceasefire plan. Military operations linked to the conflict are continuing as negotiations remain uncertain. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes on Iran's South Pars petrochemical plant and energy facilities have added to the instability in the region. The developments underscore growing fears of a wider conflict with global economic consequences.
And United States President Donald Trump has suggested imposing tolls on ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz, signaling a potential shift towards direct American control of the strategic route. The proposal comes amid ongoing conflict with Iran and disruptions to global energy flows. Trump argued that the United States, as a dominant force in the conflict, should benefit economically rather than allowing Iran to collect fees. His remarks followed renewed ultimatums demanding Tehran reopen the strait or face further attacks on civilian infrastructure. The Strait of Hormuz connects the Gulf to the Indian Ocean and carries around 10% of global as not return to his pre-war status. Foreign Minister Abbas Kakaaki has also called for new protocols involving regional stakeholders. Reports suggest Iran may already be charging limited tolls on vessels allowed to pass, further complicating negotiations. And residents of St. Petersburg are experiencing the effect of the Ukraine war moderately as drone strikes target key Russian oil infrastructure. The attacks have the major Baltic terminals, disrupting export and bringing the conflict closer to civilian life.
Facilities at Osluga and Primorsk, critical to Russia's oil shipments, have been repeatedly struck by long-range Ukrainian drones. These sites handle a significant share of Moscow's seaborne oil exports and contribute to global supply. The strikes have triggered massive fires lasting days, releasing fumes detectable in nearby urban areas. Residents report persistent smells ranging from burning fuel to chemical odors, signaling the scale of the damage. The campaign is part of Ukraine's broader strategy to weaken Russia's oil revenue, a key funding source for its war efforts. Analysts estimate the disruptions have already cost Moscow billions and reduced export capacity. Satellite imagery shows extensive damage to infrastructure, forcing traders to reroute shipments to smaller ports. However, these alternatives lack the capacity to fully replace the affected terminals. The attacks mark a shift in the conflict's reach, demonstrating Ukraine's ability to strike deep inside Russian territory. For civilians in major cities, the war is increasingly becoming a tangible presence rather than a distant event.
And Delcy Rodriguez remains Venezuela's acting president beyond the constitutionally defined 90-day limit following the capture of Nicolas Maduro. The absence of a formal extension vote by lawmakers has created uncertainty over her continued authority. The country's high court previously ruled that Maduro's detention constitutes a temporary absence, allowing her to assume leadership. Under the Constitution, such arrangement can be extended by the National Assembly, which has yet to act publicly. Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were detained in January and transferred to the United States on drug trafficking charges. Both have pleaded not guilty, while Venezuelan officials describe the situation as a forced abduction. Rodriguez has since taken significant steps to govern, including reshaping key government positions and opening the energy sector to foreign investment. Her administration has also engaged with Washington in an effort to stabilize Venezuela's political and economic landscape. The U.S. government has recognized her as the country's sole head of state and lifted sanctions against her. An Indian court has sentenced 9 police officers to death over the custodial killings of a father and son during the COVID-19 lockdown. The ruling follows widespread outrage over the 2020 incident in the Tamil Nadu state. The victims, P. Jayaraj and his son, Benix, died after being detained for allegedly violating lockdown rules. The court found that they were brutally assaulted while in police custody. The judge described the actions of the officers as a clear abuse of authority and determined that the killings were intentional. The officers had been found guilty of murder prior to sentencing. One of the accused officers died earlier, leaving 9 to face sentencing in the case. The convicted officers retained the right to appeal the court's decision. The incident sparked protests across Tamil Nadu and drew national attention to police brutality in India. Prominent figures, including Rahul Gandhi and Shikha Dhawan, called for justice. Human rights groups say custodial deaths remain a persistent issue in India's policing system. The case has renewed calls for reforms to ensure accountability and protect detainees' rights. Resident doctors across England have launched a 6-day strike, escalating a long-running dispute over pay and working conditions. The industrial action is expected to significantly disrupt healthcare services within the NHS. The strike, organized by the British Medical Association, involves doctors who make up nearly half of the NHS workforce. Hospitals are relying on senior staff to maintain emergency services while postponing routine care. Talks between the government and union representatives collapsed last month, triggering the latest walkout. Despite pay increases in recent years, doctors argue their earnings have declined in real terms due to inflation. Health authorities have urged patients to continue seeking urgent care through emergency services. However, many scheduled appointments and treatment are being cancelled or delayed. Union leader Jack Fletcher has defended the strike as necessary, citing ongoing financial pressures on doctors. The government maintains it has already offered a fair and competitive pay package. On 7th April each year, UNESCO commemorates the International Day of Reflection on 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, which was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 2003. The date marks the beginning of the genocide perpetrated against members of the Tutsi minority by the Hutu extremist-led government. Within just 100 days, more than 1 million Tutsi were systematically murdered. Moderate Hutu and others who opposed the massacres were also killed during this period. In marking a remembrance, UNESCO highlighted its commitment to promote education about genocide as a means to sensitize learners for the causes, dynamics, and consequences of such crimes and to strengthen their resilience against all forms of discrimination. In 2023, UNESCO's World Heritage Committee added 4 genocide memorial sites in Rwanda to the list of World Heritage Sites: Nyamata, Murambi, Biaseseru, and Gisozi, where the Kigali Genocide Memorial is located. Commissioned by UNESCO, an exhibition was created in March 2024 by the Aegis Trust, which runs the Kigali Genocide Memorial on behalf of Rwanda's Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement. The deputy spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Philip Agbese, has commended President Bola Tinubu over the recent ambassadorial postings, describing them as a strategic move capable of enhancing Nigeria's global standing. He, who made this known in Abuja on Tuesday, said the appointment reflects a deliberate effort by the administration to reposition Nigeria's diplomatic presence and strengthen its voice in multilateral engagement at the global stage. The Benue lawmaker, who recently defected from the ruling All Progressives Congress to the opposition Labour Party LP and a vocal member of the Pan-African Parliament, described the nomination of Senator Jimo Ibrahim as Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations as a significant asset, not only to Nigeria, but to the global community. Agbese noted that Ibrahim's presence at the United Nations would help in fostering stability and facilitating peaceful resolution of ongoing upheavals in parts of the world, including the Middle East and other conflict-prone areas. The deputy spokesperson expressed confidence that the new envoys would advance Nigeria's foreign policy objectives, promote economic diplomacy, and attract investment into the country. He also urged the appointees to justify the confidence reposed in them by upholding Nigeria's image and pursuing national interests with diligence and integrity, while calling on Nigerians to support the administration's effort to strengthen international partnership for national development. Fresh turbulence has hit the African Democratic Congress as a third faction emerged on Tuesday, further complicating the party's leadership battle. The new group has officially dissociated itself from both the Senator David Mark-led coalition and the Nafiu Bala faction, claiming to be the only legitimate authority within the party.
The leadership crisis rocking the African Democratic Congress ADC took a dramatic turn on Tuesday as the state chairman forum led by Don Norman Obina announced the takeover of the party's National Executive Committee, NEC. At a media briefing in Abuja on Tuesday, the group, which is loyal to the 2023 presidential candidate, Jomi Kachukwu, declared that neither of the warring factions has the constitutional right to lead.
In which they attempted to hijack our party and throw out the original members. 5. We are afraid that our former presidential candidate, Mr. Kachukwu, is a committed and bona fide member of the party, whose purported responsible by the Mark-led group was an act of desperate.
The conflict dates back to July 2025, when former National Chairman Ralph Nwosu handed over leadership to a coalition led by Senator David Mark. The Obina-led group maintains that this transition was illegal, arguing that Nwosu's tenure had actually expired in August 2022.
We dissociate the ADC from David Mark, Ralph Alebeshala, Bolaji Andlai, Professor Sumbo, and all members of the so-called coalition who attempted to hijack our party, and state that all actions taken by them in the name of the ADC are not binding on the ADC.
The faction is now calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to uphold its recent decision to derecognize the Mark-led leadership. Funke Ogunolu, AIT News Abuja.
A heavy downpour has destroyed the roof of the Kugbo International Bus Terminal along the Abuja-Kefi Expressway, with several people injured and scores of vehicles damaged. The rain, which began at about 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday, came with a very strong winds that blew off the roof of the Kugbo International Bus Terminal, dropping the wreckage on the expressway that made it almost impossible for road users to access the Abuja city center from the neighboring Nasarawa state.
I decided to park, and then I don't know where the heavy rain came from, but it fell on my car, like it fell on me. I was injured, but thank God for life.
At the time of filing this report, some commuters and motorists were seen making effort to clear the road. Some of the stranded motorists and commuters appealed to the authorities to quickly intervene and clear the debris blocking both lanes of the road, Abuja-Kefi Expressway, to enable the traffic to move smoothly. The National Association of Resident Doctors on Tuesday announced the suspension of its planned strike after reaching an understanding with the federal government on key demands, including payment of outstanding allowances and improvement in doctors' welfare. The decision was taken after an emergency meeting of the association's National Executive Council, where members reviewed assurances from government representatives and resolved to give dialogue another chance. President of the association, Dr. Uthman Adedeji, disclosed this on Tuesday in an interview, saying the strike was suspended after an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting, during which the National Association of Resident Doctors directed members nationwide to resume by 8 a.m. on Wednesday. He explained that the decision followed the federal government's reversal of its stance on the reversed professional allowance and a commitment to address other outstanding issues raised by the association. As the world marks World Health Day, stakeholders in Nigeria's health sector are calling for urgent and sustained action to strengthen the country's healthcare system and improve access to quality services for all. This year's theme, Together for Health, Stand with Science, highlights the importance of trusting scientific evidence and promoting accurate health information. It also aims to sensitize Nigerians and the global community on the dangers of misinformation, particularly in an era where false health claims can spread rapidly through digital platforms. And that is the world news on Kakaaki, the African Voice this morning. Thank you for watching. Up next is Kakaaki Business.
And welcome to Kakaaki Business. I am Landry Papalola. China is intensifying efforts to access Taiwan's advanced semiconductor technology and talents to bypass global restrictions, according to Taiwan National Security Bureau. In a report to lawmakers, the agency said Beijing is using indirect channels to launch high-tech firms, poach skilled workers, and acquire control technologies, and particularly in AI and advanced chip manufacturing. The report also warned of potential Chinese interference in Taiwan's upcoming local election through tactics such as deepfakes and disinformation campaigns. Cyber threats remain elevated, with over 170 million intrusion attempts recorded against government systems in the first quarter. Taipei maintains that only its people can determine the island's future, rejecting Beijing's sovereignty claims. And the annual inflation rate in Sweden edged up to 0.6% in March 2026 from 0.5% in February, according to preliminary estimates. This remains the highest reading since October 2025. The preliminary figures show that the inflation rate, according to the CPI, rose slightly in March, where transport costs increased and housing costs fell on a monthly basis. Consumer prices decreased by 0.6%, the first decline in 4 months, reversing a 0.6% rise in February. Meanwhile, the CPI with a fixed interest rate increased by 1.6% year-on-year in March, easing slightly from its 1.7% rise in the previous month and making the lowest level since December 2024. ANI has made a gas and condensate discovery offshore Egypt after drilling the Denis W1 exploration well in the Temsa concession in the eastern Mediterranean. The Italian energy group said on Tuesday, preliminary estimates indicate about 2 trillion cubic feet of gas initially in place and 130 million barrels of associated condensate. The company said the discovery will help ENI to support Egypt's goal of boosting gas reserves. Egypt's local gas production has fallen in recent years, and the country is currently suffering from spillover effect of the Iran war, particularly in the energy sector. ENI's discovery is located around 70 kilometers offshore of 312 feet of water depth and less than 10 kilometers from existing infrastructure, creating substantial synergies for a fast-track development. Billionaire tech founder Bill Gates has seen his net worth fall by $15.6 billion in 2026, reflecting market pressures and valuation adjustments, according to the Bloomberg Millionaire Index. His fortune now stands at about $102 billion, down 13.3% year-to-date, with continued volatility across its investment portfolio. The decline is partly due to the revised valuation method that accounts for its extensive philanthropy, which has already seen tens of billions of dollars donated. Asset transfer linked to his 2021 divorce from Melinda French Gates have also impacted his net worth. Despite the drop, Gates remained among the world's richest individuals with a highly diversified investment base. In Nigeria, Nigeria's manufacturing sector recorded a sharp drop in foreign capital inflow in 2025, highlighting weakening investors' confidence despite broader gains in total investment. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that capital importation into the sector fell 46% to $773 million, down from $1.43 billion in 2024. Its share of total inflow also declined significantly to 3.3% from 11.6%. Industry players, including the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, attribute the slump to a deteriorating business environment marked by rising production, logistic, and energy costs. Manufacturers say infrastructure gaps, particularly in power and transport, continue to inflate operating expenses, with firms spending up to 40% of costs on self-generated energy. Although the sector posted modest growth at 1.41% in 2025, its contribution to GDP slipped to 7.40% in Q4, underscoring persistent structural challenges limiting industrial expansion. Nigeria's business environment remained in expansion territory in March 2026, but momentum weakened sharply according to latest business confidence monitor by the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. The current business performance index fell to 101.2 points from 117.2 in February, indicating continued growth, but at a significantly slower pace. Manufacturing dropped to 103.4, trade eased to 103.8, and service moderated to 104.7, while non-manufacturing and agriculture slipped into contraction at 98.4 and 91.1 respectively. Investment sentiment remained weak, with the investment sub-index in contraction, while key indicators such as export profits and new orders also declined. Looking ahead, the Future Business Expectation Index fell to 128.0 from 135.4. Meanwhile, data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed the Purchasing Manager Index stood at 53.2 in March. And that's it on Kakaaki Business. Good morning.
Issues as they break. The multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy.
And our government seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go. Every part of this country is important.
The intrigue.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe in godfatherism in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
The law.
National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
So people put people in poverty deliberate misplacement of priorities and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
for the former president, yes. What I know is that he has not turned his membership card.
Has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the issues.
The system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT. People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
The issues as they break. The multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
There is a serious threat to democracy.
And our government seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is equal.
The intrigue.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection. I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe in godfatherism in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
The National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
Some people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
For
this
the former president,
yes,
what I know is that he has not turned his membership card.
Has not been attending your meeting.
leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the
The
issues.
system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT. People, Politics and Power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content, follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
All right, welcome back from that break. Now, with the majority of rural dwellers in Nigeria pending or depending on primary health care centers as their first point of medical attention, a new National Health Facility Survey is raising fresh concerns over the quality of care being provided. The report released by the National Bureau of Statistics on Tuesday highlights major gaps in clinical competence, access to essential medicines, and overall service readiness across the country, even as it notes that some progress in maternal and child health services are being recorded.
National Health Facility Survey presents a mixed outlook for Nigeria's healthcare system. One of the most concerning findings is the sharp decline in diagnostic accuracy among clinical health workers, which fell from 56.2% in 2023 to 46.1% in 2025. Speaking at the launch of the National Health Facility Survey, the Minister of State for Health, Isiaq Salako, said the government is committed to addressing the gaps identified in the report and improving the quality of healthcare service nationwide.
With digital health technology, there can be better monitoring, of course, of healthcare workers. We can use it to even alert, to remind patients to keep appointments, and so on and so forth. So with increased funding, digital technology, we can close some of those gaps. And of course, we also must increase the level of literacy that is available to the people.
It has been able to produce good information that can guide the health policies in Nigeria. We can know area of our strength, area of our weaknesses, and areas where necessary interventions are needed to be carried out.
In response to these challenges, the report sets out key recommendations aimed at strengthening the sector. The concern is no longer just whether a health center exists, but whether it is equipped with trained personnel, essential drugs, functional equipment, and the systems needed to save lives. Olamide Ario, AIT News, Abuja.
And also this morning, we also like to highlight that the world is witnessing history once again as 4 astronauts have set a record for the farthest distance humans have ever traveled from Earth. The Artemis 2 space mission, which departed Earth last week, venturing into paths never seen by man before, has captured the imagination of space enthusiasts around the world. AIT's Fumi Mokbai reports on their journey so far.
This is a defining moment for humans, a leap past the boundaries of the unknown. On Monday, April 6, the crew on board the Orion spacecraft, nicknamed Integrity, officially surpassed the 56-year-old distance record set by the ill-fated Apollo 13 mission in 1970.
First men on the moon. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
I have been blessed to have worked and probably...
At its peak, the mission reached a staggering distance of 252,756 miles, or 406,773 kilometers from Earth, roughly 4,111 miles further than any humans have ever traveled.
Really felt like you weren't in a capsule. You'd been transported to the far side of the moon, and it really just bent your mind. It was an extraordinary human experience. I'm so grateful for it.
Beyond the numbers, the mission is a celebration of human potential. Commander Reed Wiseman leads a team that is not just breaking records, but proving that space belongs to everyone.
if it's lighted in the right way, which we expect it to be, especially for this launch window, we have the opportunity to see parts of the far side of the moon with human eyes that have never been seen before because we have that pulled back perspective.
During their high-stakes lunar flyby, which brought them within 4,067 miles of the moon's surface, the crew captured breathtaking views of the lunar far side regions hidden from the Earth's perspective. These observations are vital, providing data to support the next goal of putting humans back on the lunar South Pole as early as 2028. The journey isn't over yet. After a quiet off-day to recover from their historic flyby, the crew is now on a 4-day return home. Splashdown is scheduled for Friday, April 10, 2026 at approximately 5:07 p.m. PDT in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego. The success of Artemis II is the final bridge to the future, proving that humanity is ready to return to the moon. Fumilayo Emopai, reporting for AIT News.
And the Minister of Art, Culture and Tourism and the Creative Economy, Hanatsi Musawa, has also announced the launch of Nitore, a digital platform aimed at showcasing Nigeria's rich cultural heritage and tourism potential to a global audience. And here is the report. The platform is expected to amplify Nigerians' cultural narratives, create opportunities for filmmakers and content creators, and contribute to the country's economic diversification.
Through this initiative, and as we marry it together with the other strands, we are not only showcasing the destinations of the different potpourri in Nigeria, but also creating opportunities for the creative industries.
The Director General of the Nigerian Tourism Development Authority, NTDA, Ola Awakan, explained that Nitore will project Nigerians' cultural and natural attractions to the world, creating opportunities for economic growth and job creation.
Across all 6 geopolitical zones of the country, Nitore stands as a unifying digital bridge, one that will tell our stories more boldly, more authentically, and more powerfully than ever before. Ultimately, driving sustained tourist traffic and repositioning Nigeria as a premier global destination.
The launch of Nitore is expected to boost Nigeria's tourism sector, with plans to collaborate with stakeholders and investors to promote the country's tourism offerings. Iwafweho Dokpesi Udwimo, AIT News, Abuja. All right, we're looking forward to the gains of that initiative, and I am hoping that it will be a nationwide, a continental, and even a global thing, and a global one for our beloved country, Nigeria. From that, we'll go to our social intervention segment, and you know that by 7 a.m., we'll be back here for newspaper review. Stay with us.
To Get Fit in 60 Seconds with Dolly Phillips. Now, everyone has 60 seconds in every day to spare. So if you're ready, let's go! Hey, am I happy to see you again? All right, I know you're ready to work out for 1 minute. So what are we doing? Side lunge and lift. Side lunge and lift. So we're going to work 30 seconds on this side and 30 seconds on this side. And your time starts now. Come on, let's go. Side lunge, lift, come on. Side and lift, that's it. Side lunge, lift, side lunge. Now notice both my feet are facing forward. I'm pushing my bum back away from my knees so that I can go low and up. Now, we work those quads and we work those lower abs as well with this workout. 5 seconds left on this side. 3, 2, and 1. Other side now, let's go. Side lunge, lift. If you can't lift too high, that's absolutely fine. Just lift as high as you can, but make that body work. Come on, make that body work. Let's go. Now, make sure your legs are not too close together. See how wide mine are. Keep them this way. All right? Down to the last 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and time. Woohoo! Well done. I hope you had a great workout. Anyway, what I need you to do is to follow us on Instagram at Alpha Fitness Studios and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Alpha Fitness Studios, for free workout videos, free dance videos, sales and promos, and make sure you join us at the gym, Alpha Fitness Studios in Lekki Phase 1 next time you're in Lagos. So until the next time, bye-bye.
Hello, great people of Nigeria. Welcome to the Leadership Clinic. My topic today will just be the leadership principles of Lee Kuan Yew. Who is Lee Kuan Yew? Lee Kuan Yew was the man behind the transformation of Singapore, and Lee Kuan Yew died, and the entire country wept because the man who helped to shape an economy from third world to first world economy has died. But Lee Kuan Yew today has left us with some principles, some leadership principles that he believed that worked for him. And my job in this series that I'm building is to bring out some of those principles that can help to be political leaders, that can help us build our companies in a more sustainable way. Lee Kuan Yew believed in the principles of results. He believed that result was much more powerful than mere talk. He believed that whatsoever that we do as a people, whatever we do as a company, that we must focus on generating results, which means we can measure progress. How far have we gone? And the result will be tangible, will be feelable, will be at least something that the people can see. And because of his belief that it's not just mere talk, it's about result, it's about making things work, things actually began to work for Singapore because everything was measurable. And at the end of the day, anybody who is from Singapore could notice that real change was happening. Real infrastructure was taking place. The mentality of the people were changing. And at the end of the day, the result we are seeing in Singapore today being one of the most interesting economies with higher per capita income. In fact, that is even greater than the one United States is enjoying. It's the result we are seeing from a man who believes so much that stop the talk, stop the noise, get to work. And when the moment you sustain the power of work, the moment you put your hands, get your hands dirty to work, the moment you are executing the plan, the moment you are making things happen, taking those principles and making them come alive, the results will be clear. As a leader, you must understand that the fastest way to actually develop trust over time is to be a person of results and not a person of plenty talk. There's so much talk in this country. The elections are coming. People have started making promises. The truth of the matter is that we will not eat the promises. What we want to see is the result. If you don't have the capacity to provide result, shift, move, and let those who have the capacity to produce results actually be the ones leading. Great people of Nigeria, you must remember, if a man does not have a purpose waking up, sleeping becomes interesting.
Have you ever wondered why your child or student would consider taking his or her own life? A friend of mine once told me that her neighbor's 14-year-old daughter committed suicide simply because no one was listening or no one took her serious. I want you to know that a number of factors could be involved. Strange as it sounds, even children and teenagers feel the pressures of life with great intensity due to negative thoughts about themselves, mistreatment from others, family conflict, academic failure, or even the death of a loved one. If your child or student talks about suicide, do not yell or scream at the child. Simply ask questions like, what is making you feel the way you feel? Promise the child or student that you will keep it a secret and he or she should open up to you. Do not trade blames. Just listen and think it through on the spot for a solution. Find out what the child or student likes and dislikes and engage such a child in that activity. You need to realize that the victims of suicide are not only those who take their own life, but also the loved ones who are left behind. If you discover that your solutions aren't effective, seek the immediate help of a mental health doctor. Being depressed doesn't mean that one is sick or mad. It could be a temporary state that with quick intervention can save his or her life. Learn to care and do not judge. Honestly, that's my 2 kobo.
Issues as they break. The multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
There is a serious threat to democracy.
And our government seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go. Every part of this country is equal.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection. I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it was for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
Ask him where is the law.
National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
So people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
for the former president,
yes.
What I know is that he has not turned his membership card. He has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the issues.
The system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being there and welcome to 7 a.m. from our studio. I'm sure it's the same time for you as well. So it's time for newspaper reviews, and as we do it, never alone, we have our 2 analysts for this Wednesday morning, Dr. Iyobosa Iwojare, This Day editor. Thank you for joining us this morning. And also we have Simon Reeve, a journalist and a columnist who has also joined us in the studio this morning to review the pages of the newspapers. Thank you for joining us as well.
Good morning.
Morning. Hope you had a good rest into today.
Yeah. So you're alone here this morning?
Yeah. I'm a solo driver today. All right, then let's see what the pages have for us this morning. We'll begin with Blueprint. It says, federal government prosecute 500 terrorism suspects, destroys 16,000 illicit weapons. It says Boko Haram, Indian Hem, food suppliers jailed 7-10 years respectively, goat seller 20 years. From Blueprint, we go to this Nigeria. It says, blow on terror, court jails Boko Haram members, dog scores for terrorism offenses, hands down 10 to 40-year terms, orders rehabilitation and de-radicalization. To the Nigerian pilots, it says on insecurity, the same story, 500 terrorist suspects on trial as federal government begins prosecution of terrorists accused of involvement in terror activities nationwide. You find that on page 8 of Nigerian Pilot this morning. From there, we cross over to the Daily Sun. It says federal government begins mass trial of terrorists, over 227 prosecuted by 10 judges. And just by the Daily Sun paper there, it says just killings, angry women halt mass burial. You'll find that on page 8 of Daily Sun today. From Daily Sun, we go to Daily Global. It says Nigerian government begins prosecution of 500 suspects implicated in terror attacks. That's how Daily Global leads. And Daily Asset says, again, terrorists kill 5, abduct scores in Niger, raise communities as residents flee en masse, gunmen ambush, kill undergraduate in Plateau. That story is on page 2 of Daily Asset today. To the New Telegraph, it says ADC crisis deepens as state chairmen reject Mark Bala factions, announce interim leadership. We will contest 2027 on our platform. INEC won't stop us. That's Abdullahi talking there. You'll find that on pages 2, 3, 6, and 7 of New Telegraph. To the Daily Monitor, it says ADC crisis deepens as state chairman disown David Mark. Nafiu Bala say ex-Senate President and Bala hijacked party from bona fide members. And just down there we have NAD, National Association of Resident Doctors, suspend nationwide strike. Resident doctors resume work today. And Al Jazeera Midweek says, ADC crisis, new faction emerges, declares itself NEC, backs INEC on delisting, dissociates ADC from Mark, Aregbesola, Abdullahi, and others. The same group alleges attempts to hijack the party by non-members and Nafiu Gombe. Now to the Authority, it says 2027 presidency in Gige. Other ex-Southeast governors endorse Tinubu. From there, we'll now talk some money, crossing over to the Business NG. It says defections trigger crisis on APC as ticket war looms for 2027. Again to politics, Observer's Time, it says, Kwankwaso, I waited till dawn. Nafiu Bala never showed. Seeks help from Gombe Emir, Islamic clerics, and other respected figures to talk Bala. New faction led by Don Norman Obina emerges, reject David Mark's leadership. All right, let's see. Nigerian News Direct, it says, World Bank urges federal government to shun blanket subsidies, support vulnerable, encourages CBN to tighten monetary policy. And now to the leadership, it says, reactions as World Bank says, Nigerian economic resilience will grow in 2026. Kakaaki, the African voice. from Dr. Uwojere, and we're looking at federal government prosecute 500 terrorism suspect, destroy 60,000 illicit weapons. That story on Blueprint, This Nigeria Pilot, Daily Sun, and Daily Global.
Yeah, I think it's very good news coming from the office of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation. Because I've always argued on this platform that when you refuse to punish bad behavior, you are emboldening others to also, carry out such criminal activities. From the days of Buhari, 8 years of Buhari regime, some of these terrorists were arrested. And the then Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, couldn't muster the courage, to take them to court and prosecute them. Part of the issues that the DSS has with Malami today, that so many of the terrorists were known to Malami. So all attempts by the Office of the Attorney General to prosecute them, was frustrated by the then Minister of Justice. Now we have a new minister who is willing to prosecute them. Because if you prosecute them, and some of them are jailed, some of them are sentenced to life imprisonment or 10 years imprisonment, as we have seen this morning, it will serve as a deterrent to others who want to commit such crime. And for me, I think it is a good development, and I'm sure the judges handling the case will fast-track the trial because, like I said, because both the government and the people involved also need justice. So fast-track the trial, give them the opportunity to also defend themselves. If at the end of the day, some of them are not found guilty, they should be allowed to go home and reunite with their family. But those who are guilty, should be sent to where they belong to. Because in a society where you allow criminals, to behave as if they are normal in a society, then is an enabler for others to want to commit more heinous crime. We want to see more of that. We want to see there are about 500. I think just having about 10 judges to try them is not even enough because that would take a very long time. So maybe some of these cases can be assigned to many judges so that at the end of the day, we'll fast-track the trial, and those who are found guilty will be sent to where they belong to. Some of them don't belong to the societies. They belong to the prison, and those who are innocent should be released. And
are they not prodigal sons?
Yeah, that's why some of the security agencies told us that they are prodigal sons. Somebody who killed, somebody or a group of people who have killed innocent people, run into thousands of innocent people. We're not talking about animals, cannot be regarded as prodigal sons. Those who are categorizing them as prodigal sons, apparently they don't know what they are doing. It's either they know what they are doing or they are benefiting from the insecurity we have in these countries. And that's exactly what some of us are hearing. Some of the security agencies or some of the top security agents will not even allow the issue to be resolved because they are benefiting hugely from the insecurity. So those who are describing terrorists in our societies are prodigal sons, actually they don't even know what they are doing. Because I'm not aware in anywhere in the world where top security officers go to bed with terrorists, with criminals, with bandits. I've not heard about that in any part of the world. If you look at the terrorist, policies of so many countries, they will tell you that wherever terrorists are found, they will go after them and send them to where they belong. Thank God the Minister of Defense, Christopher, has constantly been saying that he will not dialogue with terrorists. I think other security agencies who are working with him should also imbibe that values. As a matter of fact, the President and the Commander-in-Chief should also give a clear instructions on how terrorists should be dealt with, rather than some of them calling them prodigal sons. Maybe the NSA will come back tomorrow and tell you it's our brothers. If they commit sins and I say they are no longer ready to continue, we should forgive them.
A part of our body that we can't cut off.
Exactly. So, I don't understand whether we have certain laws for terrorists or certain law for bandits and certain law for people who still go to stay in a village. It is easier for court, magistrate court, or judges to commit people who still go or stay in a village than to convict known terrorists. I think that is only happening in Nigeria. I'm not aware in any part of the world where such thing happened.
Okay, let me bring you, Mr. Reef. Let's look at this Nigeria. The second rider, how it puts it. Well, the headline is there, blow on terror, court jails Boko Haram members. But the second rider on this Nigeria says, hands down 10 to 40-year terms, others rehabilitation, de-radicalization. Again, de-radicalization.
Well, much as I commend the Minister of Justice for commencing the trial of 500 terrorists, alleged terrorists in court, it was something that was never done in the previous administration. So we must commend the federal government for that. But again, we cannot simply look at the trial as a solution to the entire problem. I remember very, very vividly, there are so many issues that have contributed to where we are today. In the past, we were told that 400 sponsors of terrorism have been identified through the UAE when they send a list. And even after the exit of the Buhari administration, we expected that list to be made public and for them to be arrested. The 500 suspects the court is trying, these people are just cannon fodders. They are just the boys who are doing the job, and they are being paid to do the job. So the question we must ask, why can't we have these sponsors and demand that they be brought to justice? You bring the issue of the rehabilitation. I find that very nauseating. Nauseating in the sense that why do you have to a kind of pamper with kid gloves those people who go in, kill Nigerians, and then you abandon the victims in IDP camps? In the past 10 years or so, not much has been achieved in de-radicalization. It's just some money they pay. I remember the Borno government has done a lot on that side, that even over 7 billion was spent. But the issue is that, has that resolved the problem? The answer is no. Even within the military, they too have their issues. I want to let you know that I think the basic problem we're having is the corruption in the management of security funding. One top general was telling me, you have a naval command in the Northeast. Do they have waterways? I mean, of what significance are you taking a naval command there? But it became very imperative for you to take a naval command there because somebody somewhere also wants to be involved. And that is why I can tell you, without any fear of contradiction, that people these days, generals these days, strive to make sure they are taken to the theater command. That is where money is. And then you ask, are the military people, are they being taken care of? Those people in the front lines, are they being taken care of? That's the question. It never started today. It started in the past. It still continues. There's nothing to show that anything has changed. So despite this trial that is being done, we have to look at the fundamental issues that has brought in insecurity and has perpetuated it. It has become a means of livelihood for some others. And some others simply believe if you stop it, money that is meant to come to them won't come to them. And it's all about corruption. So I think those are the basic things. I commend the government for doing what it's doing, but we should go beyond that. It won't solve any problem.
All right.
Week in, week out, we hear the military tell, oh, we've decimated these terrorists, we've decimated those number of terrorists. Have we come out of the pipeline of darkness? No. We are still there. We are still entrapped. So let's bring in some bit of sincerity. If you don't bring a bit of sincerity in the whole terror fight, honestly, you won't go nowhere.
All right, let me bring in some of our viewers on YouTube, Africa Independent TV. I see your comment. This user, Ugona Eze, is saying 500 suspects are to be tried, not executed. He said not excited because we've seen such scripts before. Hopefully, they have a different play this time around. He says the 500 suspects should get worthy prosecution, not just trials that will go cold in a matter of days. Good morning to you all. Good morning, Ugona. Jackson says, where is the Minister of Defense? Annie Osai says, where are their sponsors? Indeed, where are their sponsors? Stella says, there is a very big water in Baga. I'm not sure what you're reacting to. Victor Taimba says, when the Minister of Defense was appointed, there was wide jubilation and celebration all over the country, as if that was the beginning of the end of terrorism. But it is more disappointing than before. Another user says, please, David Lila says, please, which court is the trials taking place? You know?
Yeah. The trial is taking place at the Federal High Court, very close to the Secretariat. Yesterday, when I passed there were huge security arrangements around the court. Military, DSS, police, they were all there, ensuring that there is peace, within the court vicinities. So for the social media person that is asking, the trial is taking place at the Federal High Court. As a matter of fact, one of my judicial correspondents is currently, covering the trial. So it's really taking place. So there's no doubt about that.
Okay.
Please, I want to just make a comment. Somebody talking about, the Minister of Defense, he's been disappointed. Now, honestly, the big problem we have is the federal government does not have a clear-cut policy on how to do with these terror groups. That is a major issue. I can tell you, Nigeria has the capacity to do what it can to flush these people. But because we've seen somebody saying, they are prodigal sons, and the NSA is saying, no, they are part of our body, so we can cut them. So are you saying that even if we have cancer, that we cannot even cut the entire hand just to save the rest of the body? No, we just need to do that. And mind you, there are roles the Minister of Defense can play. But the operational commanders, those are the front lines. We need to come out with a policy, say, hey, we will not negotiate with terror groups. But on one side, you are negotiating with them, and on the other side, nothing is happening. So it will continue to be. It's not the Minister of Defense, whether it's Minister of Defense, is government must come out clearly on how to deal with these terror groups.
Right.
Yeah.
From there, let's talk some politics this morning. ADC crisis deepens as state chairman reject Mark Bala factions. We have that story on New Telegraph, Daily Monitor, Al Jazeera, midweek. We have three factions. We have... You're laughing already. David Mark is there, Nafiu Bala is there. I see that we have Norman Obina being on the side of the presidential candidate, Dumebi Kachukwu, in 2023. Where is the way forward for the ADC?
You see, I think we, the media, we have a responsibility to help interrogate this issue very well, rather than helping these political jobbers, to fund the embers of their crisis. Now, you are talking about three factions now, and you have one man, Bala. Is it Bala Usman? They call him
Bala Nafiu.
Bala Nafiu.
Yeah.
How can one man constitute a faction of a political party? Just one person, because it's a law now. And the last day I saw a convoy, being escorted by DSS and police, and I asked who is that. He said that is Bala Nafiu. He's now being escorted by DSS, police, security agencies, with fleet of cars. It doesn't tell you where the crisis is coming from.
I thought we've ordered the removal of VIPs from...
They are guiding him now.
Security.
I can tell you authoritatively, they are guiding him. Now move around with SUV and security agents, police and DSS and all that.
Does that suggest anything?
It suggests something. So the point I'm making is that when we now begin to talk about fashion, how can one man constitute a fashion within the political parties? Yesterday, there's a group of people also addressed a press conference, about 8 of them.
State chairman.
Eight of them, and led by one, Dumebi Kachukwu, So as a matter of As a matter of fact, these are political jobbers. And they've been mobilized to create crisis within the ADC. And in the neck of ADC, you have almost about 105 of them. And yesterday, just about 8 members, 8 chairmen addressed a press conference and look at the way the issue was framed this morning. So the point I'm making is that I have reported politics as a journalist for years. I think journalists, media houses, we have a responsibility to help interrogate this issue very well. Because as a matter of fact, what is at stake here is not about crisis within the ADC. What is at stake here is democracy. When there is a wide perception that the ruling APC is benefiting from the crisis, then we have a problem in this country. So the point I'm making is that it's not just about celebrating the crisis every day. It's not just about telling the whole world or telling Nigerians that we have 3 factions within the ADC now. The media houses must help to interrogate this issue that is happening now. Because at the end of the day, the political space is shrinking. Just like the so many civil society group yesterday addressed a press conference, alerting Nigerians about the danger. When you now cripple all the opposition parties and you are promoting one party, and at the end of the day, what is at stake is democracy. Opposition party is not just meant for opposition, but they also have their own responsibility they play in our democratic system in any part of the world. So they put the ruling government on their toes. So when you now cripple them and allow the political environment to dominate by the ruling party, then they will have a crisis. So as we move towards 2027 general elections, I have a message for the media, which I'm part of, and we should interrogate this ongoing crisis very well and ensure that we help resolve these issues. If there are political jobbers who are trying to pollute our political system, we should call them by their names. As a matter of fact, one person cannot constitute a faction of a political party. Just one person that is being moved around with security agencies with SUV, then it shows where the crisis is coming from. Just yesterday, 8 chairmen out of about 100 and something members of the NEC of ADC addressed a press conference, and we are celebrating it. We should ask tough questions. We should ask tough questions and follow it up with re-interrogation of what is happening. So that at the end of the day, the media, or media houses will not become part of the problem that we are trying to solve in our societies.
But if this is happening, that's the development, and we know, right now, ADC is, we can call it the surviving opposition political party or coalition. Is it not giving it equal time as we are mandated by our code that we have to give all political parties the same amount of time and attention? Yeah. The same way that we've been reporting APs. Is that not what we are doing with the ADC? Let's frame it very well. Where you now say, we now have three factions within the ADC. Which faction? Who is considering those factions? One person constitute a faction within the political party. It's like, for example, I'm a member of APC now, and tomorrow I can announce myself as chairman of the APC, and somebody will say, because Ibusa has announced himself as national chairman of the APC, there's now a faction in the APC. I am not saying we should not report these issues. They are newsworthy, I agree with you, but I'm saying that this issue must be properly framed, must be properly situated by the media houses, so that we enable the public to really understand what is at stake here. It's not just about finding the ember of crisis within the SDs or the opposition party, or maybe the government or the ruling party encouraging faction within political parties. We should give members of the public the real information that will enable them to understand the crisis very well. For God's sake, what is happening in society? Labour Party has been crippled, PDP has been crippled, ADC is now being crippled. Who is crippling them?
Those who are benefiting from it. Who? And from the look of things, is the ruling party that is benefiting from this crisis. That anyone benefiting from this crisis. So I am saying that even the ruling party, the APC, has a responsibility in ensuring that we have a robust debate, we have a robust conversations as we move towards 2027 general elections. So they must also encourage competitions within the political space.
All right.
Rather than ensuring that all the all the political oppositions are crippled, then you will now allow yourself to be the only dominant parties within the environment. And that's why most of the governors are now moving to APC, because that's the only party that is attractive for them to seek re-elections in the next general election.
After all, before the Zamfara State Governor, Daud Lawal, defected, he alleged in an interview that he has not been given anything, no palliative. The governors that were defecting were being given 500 billion naira as welcome to our party. Maybe that's the attraction right there. But let me come to Mr. Reeve. It seems that the party ADC is making an effort to restore peace and see how all of them can work together, because one of the papers says that Kwankwaso was expecting Nafiu Bala yesterday, but he stood him up. He never showed up. Kwankwaso says, I waited till dawn. And now he's trying to talk to political figures, especially from the north, to see how they can maybe romance, patronize, or woo Nafiu Bala to see that he joins them. How would you review this?
Well, one thing I know is that Nafiu Bala will never accept anything.
Why?
Because he's fighting more of a war, a personal war. Now, when you look at it, I met somebody within the week after my appearance here on Friday. He told me the issues is Nafiu Bala was promised the position of Deputy Vice Chairman of the Northeast. That was the original plan. But at the end of the day, they told him that he was just a young boy, just a young man. Why give such a big position to a young man? And so he felt very angry, just like any other Nigerian, just like any other politician. He wants to also fight his way back, and so he went to court. I had expected that the MAC leadership should have simply go to that court, then argue out their case. But at the end of the day, they went to the appeal court. At the appeal court, they were told March 12th to go back to the Federal High Court because they have to go and answer their decision. But then it is a status quo ante bellum, or what do you call it in all these legal terms. Well, the INEC chairman, who is a professor of law, interpreted it that, hey, all the two factions, all the two groups or the factions are not recognized. So, issue has to do with the law. And the media must report that, whether you like it or not. We are a reflection, the media is a reflection of society. The democracy we are running is a reflection of the society. In a place where you have 30 governors are running into the ruling party, you ask yourself, what is it? Are you in the big room to see what is happening? No. That is how they want to play their politics. I've always maintained this over and over again. Democracy has been outsourced to the ruling elite. The democracy we run is not for the people. The people don't determine that. It is very few people that sit down and say, hey, Olusegun Obasanjo, as strict as he was, came up with a revelation that when it's time for election, they will tell you, hey, this money is for police, this money is for INEC, this money is for this. This is someone that had been president. So it tells you the nature of democracy that we are having. You ask the question, has it changed? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Nothing has changed. So I agree with my colleague that yes, the media should be involved in framing this, just in ensuring that we have an ideal democracy. But democracy is not a bus stop. It's not a destiny. I mean, it's still a working thing that is in progress. And that is why, if you look at the electoral reforms we've had in 2026, is an improvement of what we had, even though we still need more reforms. That's to tell you that we just have to be patient. We just have to ensure that whatever the politicians are having as their problem, they should be able to sort it out. That is simple. And in a manner where either INEC or government is seen as supporting one faction, because whether you like it or not, there are some factions.
Let me quickly react to the issue that Nafiu, is in Nafiu, what they call him, is fighting the personal war. That might not be true, because when they agree, to reconstitute the leadership of the ADC, where David Mark and others were appointed as chairman, Arabishola the secretary. I'm saying that 8 members of the former executive, led by one Uwonsu, Ralph Uwonsu, eight of them, you know, are part of David Mark's current executive. I don't know whether you understand. So, including Uwonsu and this young man called Lime, they all agreed that they were going to resign. They were going to, you know, collapse their system with, into the David Mark-led executive, while retaining 8 members of the last executive led by Uwonsu. So, as a matter of fact, there was an agreement. The media covered it, where all of them stood up one by one to congratulate, including this young man called now, what do they call him? Nafiu stood up to congratulate David Mark's leadership. He stood up to congratulate. So, at what point did it occur to him that he was cheated, and he now went to court? I think that is the problem we should be talking about. That's the problem. That's the issue that we should be interrogating. So I'm not persuaded by the argument that Nafiu is fighting a personal war. It is not. If it is fighting a personal war, we've seen disagreement with other political parties before. They all went to court. How come he's now being escorted up around the city with DSS and police, with the SUV, following him?
When that narrative started, yes, we had read on social media how netizens, people on social media were saying that, oh, this is marketing that he's doing, Balagombe, that he was marketing that I can do this, you know, selling his products, yes, and then he would definitely get patronage. And now that this is happening, people say, oh, this is patronage, you sold yourself that you can fight, and now you've been appointed to fight.
Because if you go back to the record, you will see where this young man was also congratulating David Mark and Arabishola for emerging as the chairman and secretary of the faction. So at what point did he realize that he was cheated by the current executive?
All right, let me bring in our viewers again from YouTube, Africa Independent TV. Victor Tehimba 9250 says, any opposition party that is making a headway to date is in trouble within its members. Why the smaller parties without strong members have no issues within its members? This is the work of the APC. Okay, that's according to you, Victor. Nelson says, I strongly blame ADC for failing to match the APC with their game. APC sees Nigeria political terrain as a chessboard. Up till now, ADC is just shouting instead of matching APC with their game. Jonah Sedunu says, thank you, Iyobosa, for that submission. How can the media say that state chairmen reject ADC led by Mark without stating that it was an insignificant number of chairmen? John says APC can cripple the ADC just like they did to PDP and Labour Party, but cannot cripple all the Nigerian citizens. Somebody is asking about Francis, why can't ADC members form a new political party? Apparently, the time has passed. But I see it's a Hannat Sport. 1062 says, good morning. Please, 30 minutes is too short for this review. We benefit from these people more than any other thing. Make it an hour of review. So we're going to negotiate this morning for your sake. Instead of 1 hour or 30 minutes extra, you take 15, we take 15. So that's 45 minutes if producer says yes. How about that? Thank you for engaging anyways. Now we cross over to the Authority newspaper that says 2027 presidency in Gige. Other Southeast governors endorse President Tinubu.
Yes. We expected nothing less than what we were saying. For the ruling party, like you said, it muzzle up a lot of interest, a lot of bodies. They have 30 governors in their kitty. Former governors of the Southeast have come up to support them, even including the Ochendo himself, that is the former Ngigi. You know, he was one time saying, no, they are almost, but for now, the reality has dawned on him. That is the nature of Nigerian politics.
Which reality? After he was dragged to court for corruption.
Well, whether he was dragged for court for corruption or whatever you think, that is the politics in Nigeria. We're not running an ideal system. It is that ideal system we all think that, oh, this is democracy, it will work like this. No. In the history of this country, we have 30 governors in APC, in the ruling party.
Or at least 30. I think they said 32.
Well, whether 30 or 31 or 32, they are in their net. Now the question, like somebody said, if Nigerian citizens want a change, they will simply say, no, we don't need it. And that is why that's a comment that said, the ADC, why can't they not do a new party? It's too late. But why can't they move to a party, bring all their arsenals of support a candidate, and then galvanize Nigerians to support that person? But because the quest for power in Nigeria is a personal quest, even if they are even allow them to do it, which I pray and I hope the court should grant them that this thing, that they should also have their primaries and bring out a candidate. The very moment a candidate emerges from the ADC, there will still be crisis. Just like even in the APC, outside of the presidency, like a paper said, the fight for the ticket of APC will cause an implosion, whether we like it or not. People that were not that will not be carried along will feel that no, we need to go and fight back, and they will fight back by leaving the APC. So let's not place our hope on these politicians. Let Nigerians seize the opportunity and do what is right. Let the ADC, whether it's supported by Mark or this or that, let them be the galvanizing factor. Let them push Nigeria that, hey, the suffering in the land is much. We need to have a change. So they can push for that.
Yeah, this idea of defections, we're going to see more defections, especially as we approach 2027 general elections, because what matters to some Nigerians is what they call the stomach infrastructures. And that's why we are seeing more of that now. We are seeing many political jobbers who are saying, oh, we are here, we are ready to do a job for you. And because the ruling parties or those who are benefiting from it have huge resources to play around with, and it is easy for them to catch up some of these things. But we've seen it before, whether the ex-governors or the governors are defecting to the APC or supporting one, endorsing Tinubu or not. But at the end of the day, what matters is the people. We have seen in this country where when Peter Obi came in as a presidential candidate, oh, this man doesn't have structures. He might not be able to win a world elections in the last general elections. We saw when city governors lost their elections, their inability to go back to the Senate, where so many city governors lost their state, to Obi. And at the end of the day, Obi almost won that elections, whereas that one is contestable. Of course, the Supreme Court has said he didn't win that election. But the point I'm making is that most of these political elites who are defected to political parties, they don't have the people with them. If they like, let them have the 32 governors defected to a ruling parties. At the end of the day, what matters is the people themselves. Some of them might not be able to, some of the people who are defecting and the so-called leaders who are defecting now, on the day of election, they might not be able to go to their ward to vote. There will be a revolt. Nigerians are angry. We should know that Nigerians are angry. And that is why one should have expected that now that the APC have about 32 governors, by now they should be celebrating. They know the implication of that. That in spite of the defections of city governors, senators, House of Reps, that the masses are angry. And they believe that the only way they can do that is to string the political space. Somebody talk about, oh, Nigerians should mobilize and do this and do that. How will you do that when the political space is being stringed by the government on a daily basis?
I'm seeing a comment from Tajuddin Gbadamosi, which says most analysts are just economical with the truth. Aside NAFIU issue, ADC has 13 cases in court. As far back as 2022, coalition gangs failed to plan, and that's the result on the table. So I saw this and I remember the leadership period that was said that Ralph Nwosu had left office, which is why the third faction now
Did you
is
say
coming
36
up.
cases?
Let me double check. 13 cases.
Where's that case coming from? I want to know this Nigeria. How come we didn't hear about those cases before now?
There are cases.
No, I'm sure there are cases. The case I know I'm aware of, when Ralph Nwosu came aboard, Kajuku Dumebi, who was the the party presidential candidate in the last general elections, contested that position with them. So they went to court. That's the one, and that's one that is also emerging as the third faction now within the political parties now. So which faction are they talking about? Which faction are they talking about? Which cases are they talking about? We want to be educated. This propaganda, has its own limit. If they're talking about 30 cases that we have in court that we are not aware of, let us know about the 30 cases that they have in court. So I'm not going to be persuaded by this propaganda by people who are benefiting from this crisis. I won't be persuaded by that. I will not.
All
I'm
right.
not a member of a political party. Yeah. But I am saying that as a Nigerian, I'm interested in real competitions within our political space. If the APC believe that they are very popular or they have 36 governors and they will win their election, they should also allow other people to also contest the election with them. At the end of the day, we leave the decision to Nigerians to decide it. To decide.
Again, I bring in our viewers from YouTube, Africa Independent TV. I'll start this time in reaction to the governors, the authority newspaper lead that Southeast governors are supporting Tinubu. This user, Chukwu Emeka Agbo, says, attention should be shifted on judiciary, but for former governors, they are running away from EFCC. When time comes, Nigeria will speak.
Absolutely.
David Abok, absolutely?
Yeah.
David Aboki says Ngige and Co. will support Tinubu because he has the yam and the knife. Stomach infrastructure politics, it is. And all those in ADC, are they not same old politicians that brought us to where we are? What's the point then? That's from Olusegun Ajayi. All right, let's look at one more story before we call it a day, maybe. This time, World Bank urges federal government to shun blanket subsidies and support vulnerable. Sarif.
Well, subsidies, whether we like it or not, countries of the world, even developed countries, provide subsidies to their citizens, knowing that not all citizens are on the same economic level. When the federal government said, we want to remove subsidy, or the president, it was a declaration he made on the day he was sworn in as president. We saw what happened. At the end of the day, subsidies were removed, and the funds which government said will be made available for infrastructural development was given to the states. So it's a fact now that the states are receiving more than 3 times what was previously allocated to them. You now ask the question, have some of those states used that fuel subsidy to improve the lives of the people? Nothing. We were also told that if we have these funds, everything will go right. But instead, we've been having loans upon loans upon loans. That government will simply send a loan request to the National Assembly without asking. They simply approve it. How would that be? That is to tell you that we have a dysfunctional system that makes the president the only person that determines what happens. So it is because of the non-performance of the legislature in checkmating the executive that has brought us to where we are. Now, we also have this issue of a 3.3 trillion that is approved for GENCOs in the power sector. Everybody in Nigeria knows that the power sector has practically collapsed. It's very difficult, whether you're in Band A, like my friend here who is in Band A. I don't know if he still enjoys. I am in Band Z, because some of us are just bandless. They are bandless. But you see all these things are happening because the system itself was built on fraud. GENCOs were supposed to bring in foreign direct investment. If you now ask the question, what foreign investment have you brought in? Ask them that question. How much you get it? Then there is also the transmission part of it. That is also a huge Roth system. Because if GENCOs generate 6,000 megawatts, transmission may be less than 4,000. And because you don't store energy, it's wasted. Even when the transmission comes, AEDC can only distribute 3 megawatts. And that's the issue. So all these things we are simply looking at. It is a system that is sick. And instead of us looking at those things that will improve on the lives of Nigerians, politicians are simply interested in what happened in 2027. And that is why, because of that interest, every other thing is relegated to the background. And that is a fundamental issue. So for us to move ahead, the World Bank has said that we have a resilient economy. And subsidies should be given to those that are less privileged or the vulnerable group. Since the removal of the oil subsidy, how many vulnerable have been taken care of? Is it the 600-something billion that you use and you say conditional cash transfer? Where are the records? No. You say you are giving people 20,000 naira every month. What can 20,000 naira do to you? Now, drive through town now. You discover that all these roads are empty. You can drive and close your eyes because the cost of fuel is so much and it has affected the economic activities of citizens. So government needs to look at this issue of subsidy. They should not, because they can't tackle the corruption in subsidy, simply go for a very simple means of, oh, let's take it out.
You see, I agree that subsidy should not be given to everybody. For example, if you have a car, if you are alone at home, and you have almost about 7 cars or 10 cars in your house, it means that you can afford to buy fuel your cars at any rate. Because I think what we need to do, especially within the context of the current crisis, the global crisis that we find ourselves, is to ensure that those who are poor benefit from the government. And so many countries around the world, they've adopted several strategies they are using to cushion the effect of the global crisis we currently have. You know, some of them are even investing in the transportation. Some of them are ensuring that there's huge investment in the full chain supply. Some of them are ensuring that they provide so many things and ensure that the poor benefit from it. Some of them are even paying money directly to the poor, you know, so that in order to enable them to cushion the effect of this global economic crisis caused by the crisis in the Middle East. So Nigeria should also look for a way of doing that. Just about a few weeks ago, as the federal government promised that they were going to roll out CNG buses, you know, across the country, you know, to cushion the effect of the cost of transportations. But we have not seen that. And that's why in the evening, if you go to different bus stops, you see huge crowd every day waiting for buses to go home. And we all know the cost of transportation now. I think that is where the federal government should also look at, you know, how do you, because at the end of the day, this transportation determines so many things. And before you know it, the prices of food, of goods or services will go up. And it's already there. You know, if you go to the market now, the cost of garri about 3 months ago is no longer the cost. The prices they've all changed. So I think those are the areas the federal government should invest in, you know, ensure that the poor benefit or are given what they call subsidy.
No,
until this crisis is improved. Just yesterday, Dangote, you know, confirmed to a global foreign media that the government has doubled the supply of crude oil to him, and 60% of it was given to him in naira, while 40% of them, 40% of it was given to him in dollars, which means that the federal government is also trying to encourage Dangote to reduce the prices of his fuel product. Yeah. So I think for me that is a good development. I think Dangote must also show good faith. Now that out of the 100%, now that they have doubled the supply of crude oil to you, and out of that, 40% of it was given to him in naira. 40% of it was given to him. So Dangote should also show good faith in that the price of petroleum product is also reduced.
But he's paying.
So, you know, currency to buy oil from the government. The federal government is also losing foreign earning, by selling to him in naira, because you don't have enough dollars supply within the system. You're also inevitably creating crisis within the forex market, But like I said, Dangote must also show good faith and ensure that the people also benefit from the good gesture that the federal government is also giving to him at present.
Well, if I want to just add what he said, I've always consistently called for government to find a means of giving this fuel, this crude to Dangote at a reduced pricing, in a way to control the product, the prices of fuel. You see, all what the government has achieved in the last 2.5 or nearly 3 years is just almost been wiped out. Because people were so inflation was being tackled, this and that. Now, with the increase of fuel, the people will tell that, we are spending much money on transportation. So if you are able to find a means, because this crude oil we are talking about is for Nigerians, it's for the Nigerian people. If we have issues, our government should be able to find a way of how they can tackle it.
All right.
Because we do not even have a place where we have a reserve. Once is 1 week, there is no fuel, everywhere will go bad.
Yeah, you were asking how many people have received and where are the numbers. I just wanted to read to you that the federal government says it is expanding its Renewed Hope conditional cash transfer, and so far only in 2026, 15 million vulnerable households with 9 million people already receiving it, and they've received 75,000 naira each, 25,000 naira per month. So the federal government apparently had responded to you earlier than your question.
No, you see, it's not that but when you have the document.
So you're looking for the humans?
Yes. Let's bring the humans. Let's bring, so person, because I don't know if you have somebody that has received that such amount of money.
Maybe a deeper search will bring them. A deeper search. If you have somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
So I think it is that question of, we don't just throw away stats and then expect that Nigerians should just come and climb, and clap for you. During the Buhari administration, we had the same story, and after that, we were told that billions and billions of naira were siphoned by the minister. That's the story.
We're being told how billions of naira were being given to Nigerians.
Yes.
Not knowing that they were using it as a propaganda. At the end of the day, there were those who were so-called, who were managing that fund, that were benefiting from themselves. So at the end of the day, what do we see? Billions of naira went into a private pocket. And some of them are still working on the streets of Nigeria today. Nothing happened to them.
All right. Let's bring in our viewers again at this point. Piri Sola Dayo says, let us thank God that President Bola Tinubu removed subsidy and the Dangote refinery is live. If not, PMS price could have been 3K per litre by now. Okay, we thank God, Dr. Oluwa. And this user, Wally Extra, says there were actually 14 cases involving ADC. Your guests should do their research and report next week.
You should tell me now.
We would like it if you're able to tag us to that. So,
exactly.
Yeah, Tajuddin, Badamosi, and Victor, if you're able to tag us to... Tajuddin, really, if you're able to tag us to those things on the space of social media, trust us, would escalate and forward. I'm Rena OBO on X, just so if you want to find me. Yes, those are some of the reactions that we'll take this morning. We'd like to thank you so much for doing your Wednesday morning with us and looking at the pages of the newspaper. Dr. Iyobosa Nwajere, this day editor, thank you so much for being here.
This
and the extra
editor,
time.
Abuja,
yes. Precisely Abuja. Thank you also, Simon Reef, journalist and columnist, for doing extra time with us based on popular demand.
Thank you very much.
All right. Everyone, we take a short break, and when we return, we have more on Kakaaki, the African Voice this morning. And don't forget that Kakaaki Social is almost here.
People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
The 2025 National Health Facilities Survey presents a mixed outlook for Nigeria's healthcare system. One of the most concerning findings is
the issues as they break, the multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy.
And our government seem to be incapable of protecting
the scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is equal.
The intrigue.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe we go for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
Good morning and welcome to Kakaaki Social O'Clock. It's 8 o'clock and we are ready to get to the stories that are making waves right now in the space of social media. I am Chidera Izudoye. Welcome. Our panic and uncertainty have taken hold in parts of Katsina State as fear of the state and fear of rush attacks and has forced residents to abandon their homes in droves. Now, this alarm was raised after a letter allegedly from armed groups began circulating within affected communities, warning locals to vacate or face deadly consequences in the coming days. Now, villagers grouped by fear have begun relocating to safer areas, with many seeking refuge in neighboring towns and internally displaced persons camp. Let's see what netizens are saying concerning what is happening in Katsina State. Now, to the next slide, where netizens are reacting to that. John Easy is saying, out of spite for the mosquito, the cockroach voted for insecticide. Now, the insecticide is killing the mosquitoes, the cockroaches, and even the flies that did not vote. Guess what? Some are still pushing for the insecticide to go for second term. If you know, you know. Okay, let us continue. Every day, terrorists chip away at Nigeria's sovereignty. Where is the military protection we were promised? It feels as though Nigeria is at war within itself. Where is Tinubu? Where is his cabinet? How many more Nigerians must die? In the same line, Kingsley said, Buhari's hometown. Terrorists are issuing written threat letters and residents are fleeing. The presidency was 20 minutes away for 8 years. This is not a coincidence. This is abandonment dressed as governance. And in the same line, Tunde is saying more terrorist groups are springing up, but there is no local, community, state or regional police force to enforce security, to combat terrorism and complement overwhelming, corrupt, centralized. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please act fast. Insecurity is destroying the present, the future, generations to come. Well, it is very disheartening that this is happening. The crisis within the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has taken a new turn as a third faction has surfaced, declaring itself the legitimate leadership and rejecting the authority of both the existing camps led by David Mark and Nafiu Bala. The new group, which claims to represent the authentic structure of the ADC, has dismissed the rival camps led by the former Senate President David Mark and the party chieftain Nafiu Bala, insisting that both factions lack legitimacy. Now, the spokesperson for this breakaway faction argued that due process was not followed in the emergence of the other camps, alleging violation of the party's constitution and internal democratic principles. Our baby ADC is already having buzzwords, but let's see what is going on. Ayo is saying ADC is full of ex-PDP, APC, and Labour Party. What do you expect? And in the same light, this result is saying wiser politicians are jumping from one party to another, jamming crises that they can't resolve. But yet, some Nigerians believe that they are the messiah to fix Nigeria. Okay, Lucky is saying ADC and all the opposition parties, patriotic Nigerians, should stop being and get to work. They should forget about ADC and move to another party immediately because there is no time. Okay, and we have Wispo, who says Nigerians know that ADC has been lawfully owned by Ralph Wosu for over 20 years, and he was willfully provided his platform to David Mark, led NWC for 2027 election. Nigerians know the legitimate ADC. Okay, now Jasper is saying a time will come when the masses will settle the matter themselves without a political party. It will get there soon. Hopefully it doesn't get there because it sounds a lot. Now, a heavy downpour in parts of Abuja has reportedly damaged sections of the roof of the Kubo bus terminal, one of the Federal Capital Territory's recently completed transport facilities. Eyewitnesses say the intense rainfall, accompanied by strong winds, tore through parts of the terminal's roofing structure, leaving visible damage and exposing sections of the building. The incident has sparked concern among communities and residents, many of whom question the durability and construction standards of the newly inaugurated facility. Let's see this video of what happened yesterday.
Rain don't destroy them. Our block will complete. He jammed this car, now he hits this car.
Yeah. The person can come and leave the car there. Where did they leave the car? This is the car. Yeah. Hi.
Mr. Project, this is the recently completed Kubo terminal, bus terminal, that never worked. Today, everything has collapsed. Our hard-earned money. The legacy of the Mr. Project. Happening now at Kubo.
Okay, let's see what netizens are saying concerning this. Michael Bishop is saying, you can't claim to modernize Abuja when the modern terminal is more fragile than the one-chance buses it was meant to replace. And another user, Uche, says, this happened in Ohio, as well as where the roof of the bus stop was torn off in a tornado in 1976. So please do not say it was a wicked job done with embezzlement in mind. It was commissioned, led by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as who said it was the state-of-the-art project. And let us continue. Shirley is saying this is a natural disaster that the government will address soon. So please do not blame anyone. And Jonathan, replying to Shirley, is saying, LOL, it was rain, just rain. I don't know how you all still find manage to find ways to spin these things around. A spade should be called a spade. Stop defending incompetence. And we have Larry King, who says APC will soon blame Peter Obi for being responsible for the rain that destroyed the bus stop. Okay. Now, in another line, another user who is saying, I hope Alex Oti is learning from what is happening in Enugu and Abuja. Our enemies are watching and praying. And finally, Ayodeji is saying the most painful part is that since inauguration, this terminal has never received a single bus, just lying idle. But we hope the FCT minister does something. Now, popular online activist Very Dark Man has disclosed that he has officially petitioned the Nigerian police force accusing Blessing CEO of defrauding members of the public. According to him, the petition has been acknowledged and approved for investigation by the Inspector General of Police, signaling the beginning of the formal probe into this allegation while details of the claims remain limited. VDM insists that this move is aimed at ensuring accountability and protecting unsuspected members of the public. Let's see this video.
So, as you can see, my petition to the Inspector General of Police about Blessing CEO have been approved. This is the petition. Weeks ago, as you all know, Blessing CEO came out and then she said she has cancer. I believed because she shaved her hair, you know, and I felt compassion. I was sad, and on that very day, I didn't have anything in my account. I had nothing in my account. I had just this money I transferred. As you can see, I transferred 115 naira.
Well, the whole idea of that video is to let us know that he has petitioned to the Nigeria police, not the amount he transferred. And NWC speaks is saying VDM said he filed it. Petition is stamped and dated. Blessed CEO will definitely respond. Make we just the observe first. And we have Winning Will, who says she did nothing wrong. She should sue you instead for accusing her. Okay. And we have another user who says, you people that are criticizing VDM, what is the difference between what Blessing CEO did and what Nigerian politicians are doing? Just imagine putting Blessing CEO in a political position. She should consider that. And then Izzy is saying rule of law and the criminal justice system might be on holiday in Nigeria. If it has to take this guy to file a petition just so the police can carry out their statutory duty, I expect the EFCC and the ICPC to be on the case because it is clearly a case of fraud. Now, wow. Well, it is what it is. A lot is going on in Nigeria. And in the same line, a fresh twist has emerged in the controversy surrounding popular relationship coach Blessing CEO. As a woman, Deborah Mbara claims that her medical records were manipulated without her consent. In a video circulating online, Mrs. Mbara alleged that her stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis was falsified and presented in a misleading manner to deceive Nigerians. She further claimed that the altered result was used to generate public sympathy and possibly solicit financial and emotional support under false pretenses. Let's see her video.
It's Mrs. Deborah Mbara. I'm the creative director of Zazie Beauty Place. I'm a makeup artist. I reside in Asaba, Delta State, Nigeria. A wife and a proud mother of 4 kids. I am the very lady that Okoro Blessing Nkiruka, also known as Blessing CEO, doctored my results. Here is my story. Sometime last year, she was in Asaba for a doctoral shoot, which I happen to be the makeup artist.
Hey guys, it's Zazie Beauty. Film the makeup, we're not done yet. If I let me show you this Zazie, let me show you this CEO. So this is Zazie Beauty. See how pretty she is.
Fast forward to last 2 weeks, or last week thereabouts, when she started flagging on her social media that she's having stage 4 cancer, crying. That was how I started talking to her, encouraging her, telling her that she should gather herself, that it's not even a social media thing at all. As she was crying with kind of just put yourself together. I was even telling her that God saw me through this, see the scar, it have all gone, see my, you know. As she was crying, she said, okay, Zazie, please, can you just please help me send your own report when you were diagnosed so I could compare it with what my doctor gave to me? I said, okay, no problem. That was how I gave her my results, because she said she wanted to compare it with what her doctor gave to her, only for me to see on social media on Friday of it that it was the result I gave to her that she doctored and flying it all over to back up the nonsense and the defrauding and the money people are raising for her.
This calls for a huge Let's see what Wales is saying. Imagine sitting down to orchestrate lies, doctor someone else's results, then come online shedding crocodile tears just to collect money. Nah, she's a full-time Yahoo girl. Nothing you won't tell me. And our final reaction coming from Abalaka saying she doctored pathology reports, she scammed donations from unsuspecting public, she lied about donations collected. Why has she not been arrested? Well, VDM filed a petition yesterday. We hope the necessary authorities do the necessary things. And that is it on Kakaaki Social this Wednesday morning. I am Chidera Izudoi. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned, stay informed, stay engaged, and have a blessed day. You can reach us via the social media handles displayed on the screen. See you same time tomorrow.
My baba, they always say, for market, every day gets your own wahala. Sometimes people go on scan you. But Baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My baba remember OPay USSD lock. That's star 955 star 131 hash. Baba press am, lock account. From market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now OPay, they protect people like us. My baba fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire am, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now OPay be the people payment shield.
Football lovers, movie lovers, family entertainment fans, get ready for something big because StarTimes is giving you Over Jara. For a limited time, when you recharge for 2 months, you get upgraded to the next bouquet free. That's more sports, more movies, more kids shows, more entertainment at no extra cost. Over Jara.
The issues as they break, the multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy.
And our governments seem to be incapable of protecting
the scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go. Every part of this country is important.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it was for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
Ask him where is the law.
National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
Some people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
for the former president, yes. What I know is that he has not turned his membership card.
Has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the issues.
The system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT. People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
All right, everyone, welcome back and thank you so much for being there. Earlier when we started, if you joined us, we told you that we'll be looking at the African Democratic Congress, the new development there with the emergence of a new faction that says, oh, I'm the third faction right now, led by 8 state chairmen of the party. We have our guest that would be joining us, but virtually, Kenneth Eze, the executive lead Speak Out Africa initiative. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Kakaaki, the African Voice.
Good morning, Nigerians.
I'm sure that you consider me a Nigerian too, so yes, good morning.
Yes. Yeah, good morning.
All right, so we thought that the ADC only had 2 sides to battle with, the David Mark-led faction as well as the Nafiu Bala Gombe faction. But yesterday, one came up to say, no, we are the authentic leadership of this party. Let me get your immediate reaction to that.
Okay, thank you. The truth is that Nigerians should not take what is happening lightly. We should all be sad. We should be unhappy, actually, as against the smile that we are seeing on people's faces. And the reason is not far-fetched. It's because the democracy, we've not even actually actualized its gains maximally, optimally, is already being, going down. It's already being stifled by the same beneficiaries, the direct beneficiaries. So it's an unfortunate incident, actually, that few months, less than 1 year, to the election, which is in January now, 2027, we are at a crossroad where some persons from some quarters are saying that if the 2 leading major opposition parties are not on the ballot in the next election, that heaven will not fall. Very shameful comments. And that is already justifying the insinuations, the projections, the prophecies, political prophecies that people have actually made earlier before now, that the party or the government in power appears not to be, ready or not to ready to allow competitive participation. So what is happening now with the emergence of the third faction yesterday is not only shameful, it shows that we are just behaving as if we're in a lawless society. It's also not impossible to still see, maybe before the end of today or tomorrow, another faction, possibly the fourth faction, to also emerge. Of course, in Nigeria that now the most thriving business or career is politics. And that is why we are seeing what is happening. These persons, if you are to go background check, you would discover that a good number of them has nothing doing. I repeat again, nothing meaningfully doing. And many of them had not even done anything before now, except politicking and politics. So in another way, you would not be surprised to see even another faction emerging again today, shamelessly, because politics and politicking in this part of the world has made so attractive as the most thriving, most lucrative, most promising career anyone can venture into. And, surprisingly, you don't need to learn anything. You don't need to go to any school. You don't need to, even without your primary school, best school living certificate, you can govern a people in Nigeria. So what do you expect of a nation that has so much lowered governance, so much lowered, the criteria for governance? What is meant to be the most critical component of a nation, being that it governs, it determines what happens to who, it formulates policies and laws, manage policies, they control. Everything you do is being regulated and controlled by who governs you. So the same components that should be treated with high level of professionalism, attention, and seriousness, and highest level of scrutiny is being left in the hand of lifetime career politicians.
Mr. Eze, but would you say that you are surprised by this development? Are you surprised? Did this come as a news to you, or it was something that you sort of expected along the line?
No, I am not surprised. Of course, and many other Nigerians will not be surprised. Of course, this recent group yesterday, led by Kachiku, had some months ago, showcased themselves in this same line, but after a while they hibernated. They went into hibernation. So, but when they now saw that, of course, the cast is now, the die is cast, and the fruits appears to now be ripe. So now we can get so much attention, not just attention of Nigerian people, the media. Of course, without what they did yesterday, we will not be here discussing this. And some of these people, you never heard of them all through their lifetime. So they are looking for something to, to engineer so that they can draw attention, of course. And by so doing, before you know, the media will start moving around, going around them. They become popular in quotes before their own eyes. And so I am not surprised because, like I said, this is their season. From now till 2027, you expect even the more of it. And until Nigerians, the main employer, will rise and put a stop to this. I listened to your comments, it's the section before now, and somebody, a Nigerian wrote, he said, let them be doing what they are doing. That very soon, the main people, the citizen, will decide, will take it upon themselves. It will no longer be the issue about political parties. I listened to that.
Right.
Even though your anchor was saying, no, we don't want it to get to that. But how will it not get to that? When it's clear, did you forget the same issue with Labour, the same issue with NNPP, the same issue with SDP, the same issue with PDP, the same issue now with ADC? So what else do you want? Now, the issue is very simple. There's hunger in the land. So how many persons have that integrity to be able to look at and say, I will choose the path of securing the future of my children and the future of this nation rather than turning white to blue? So Nigerians are not surprised. These same politicians are not quite different for themselves. The only difference is that the one in power today, the other people paint them in bad light. Tomorrow again, if it's not your turn, you now become an opposition. So Nigerians are getting more wiser. And now seeing that every 4 years, these people comes, divide Nigerians, find a way, divert our attention. Imagine how can a nation where people are dying in good numbers, in hundreds, in tens, we do not talk about that. The mast, the national flag is not being flagged at half-mast. There is no public hearing. Have you seen any public hearing in recent time being held by the so-called National Assembly, whether the House of Rep or the Senate, on the killings? Do you mean that killing up to 100 or 100 or 50 something, or even 10, is not enough to have public hearing? But you will see the same set of people, the same arms, who is feeding on our hard-earned money. Every day, our money is being deducted, whether stamp duty, a lot of taxes, from the hard-earned sweat, little money you are making, to pay these people humongously through constituency projects, through all the allowances, wardrobe, newspaper, everything for doing nothing. And these same people cannot even respect, even if it's there to fake it. What stopped the National Assembly moving the leadership immediately to Benue, going there to sympathize? Have you seen that? Maybe you will tell me in the media. Have you seen the leadership of the National Assembly? Have you seen the National Assembly go to Jos? Have you seen the National Assembly go to Katsina? And people are dying in numbers every day, in Kwara. And to even see our so-called leader, even when they want to go, because they want to feel like, okay, let us yield a little to the cry of the people. When they reach there, they will even refuse to go to the scene. That happened in Kwara. The vice president went to Kwara. He did not reach the... So can you imagine that he remained in Ilorin, whether government house, and came back to Abuja? The same thing happened to the president because the followers will follow the footsteps of the leader.
Mr.
If the president is not doing it, why would the vice do the same? So you can see that they are making caricature of a nation that is so blessed, a nation that has the highest number of people who are doing exploit in every sector: entertainment, creativity, medicine, law, every area. And so I think what they want to achieve is to make the future generation to lose hope in this nation. But Nigerians will not give up. People are already getting to their nerves, to the level they can no longer take again. So Nigerians are watching. Whatever they like, it's not like the ADC is different from APC, or PDP is different from NNPP. These are the same. Who are the people in the ADC? Were they not the same people in the PDP? Who are the people in the APC today? How many governors that now made up to 33 or 34? Where were they before? PDP. So it's not like they're just changing governments. That is not the issue. And ordinary Nigerians want to be given a platform to be able to recruit and sack through electioneering.
All right, Mr. Eze. Mr. Eze, I hear you, and as you acknowledged, you remember that while all of this leadership handover and change in leadership was ongoing, the 2023 presidential candidate of the ADC, Dumebi Kachuku, had staged about 7 state chairmen at the time. Now there are 8, to say that their signatures were formed, and this does not align. He alleged the case of forgery, even though the chairman at the time says, okay, this was actually the case, and there were allegations of those guys being twisted. That's the chairman right now. They went into hibernation. We're not sure why they went to sleep, because until Nafiu made a case for himself, right now, we did not hear from them up until yesterday. Why do you think they went into hiding and only resurfaced yesterday?
Very simple. Like I said, so now, earlier, they were not getting the attention that was needed. And let me also remind Nigeria that, before then, APC was still at the formation stage. Who were there? we did not have the big wigs that we had today. The former president, those persons were not yet joined. The Labour Party presidential candidate, the Kwankwaso, recent, many of these big wigs. Because, you know, a goat, we only follow someone that carries a palm tree, or the palm fronds, rather. So when you don't have palm fronds in your hands, there's no need. The goat will ignore you. So they made those first move. That does not presuppose. I'm not saying that they do not have a case. I'm not a political member of ADC. I do not know whether their signature was formed or not formed. But in a serious country, should we be talking about that openly? And nothing was done. So why do we have multiplicity of all the agencies that we do? Does it need to take 1 week to verify and to prosecute if such thing was true or wrong? But we are not in a serious country. Because that would have been made over by now. If you forge my results, it will take few minutes, 1 week, few days, that will be resolved. Because there will be a forensic audit and all those things will happen. And there's also even some postulation, discussion by the other side that these same party chairmen were present when the remark leadership took over. But let's not go into that, because that means I'll be speaking for this. And for politicians, like I said, they are the same. They can go to any level to twist, to give any narrative, just to suit themselves. But I'm more focused on the issue that why there's now wake up is that the Bala-led now is getting attention. The Bala-led not just getting attention, there have been speculation that he was heavily paid. A man, they said, cannot, of course, we all know what it means to engage a son, senior advocate. And maybe he's not even engaging one. So, and all those postulations, there are also news that he said, I can only me, of course, admitting. So, all these things is not what Nigerians are even talking about. So, this other Kachuku's-led fashion is now saying that, Bala as a single man squad is getting this attention. That myself, we need to resuscitate our earlier cry and move. And yesterday, we just saw them. And so the issue is not even about who is saying the truth, who is not saying the truth. Is implication to the democracy. Is a pointer of how governance has gone so low. For God's sake, there should be a demarcation between governance and politics or politics. The immediately politics that, but it's unfortunate that in this administration, I stand to be corrected. This government, one of the highest things I hold against this government is the failure to separate governance from politicking. Politics is a vehicle that brings you to that point of governance. The moment it brings you, these things are division of labor and it's timed. You have to immediately switch to governance until when the time comes again. That is why we have calendar by INA, electoral laws. We have time to start politicking. But unfortunately, this government started politicking immediately they came into office. And that was a first pointer, a very strong pointer, that they may not be able to meet the aspiration of Nigeria. Because if my focus is to concentrate and govern, that means I will talk less, I will do less to convince people to vote for me. But if I already have a premonition that I am not going to enjoy the support of the people, so what I will do is to go to my fallback plan and use all the resources to now put into the hands of the governors and keep telling the students that the governors are now collecting humongous amounts and are now doing politics from day one. Did Nigeria forget that less than 2 years, few months to becoming 2 years, a whole national assembly, governors, many people came together and endorsed the sitting government. For God's sake, if it is where governance is taken very serious, how do you raise somebody out of 4? You are not even up to the 4 years, or even 3 years. You are already in endorsement. If you're in Abuja, like myself, do you not see posters from airports, from everywhere, right from where the government came in? Is that a serious government? So what do you expect? I'm talking about people in power. So not to talk of people who are already disadvantaged, who are playing opposition. Some of them, their money is already running down. And remember I told you earlier that they do not have any other career they are doing. The only career is politics. So is either politics or politics or politics or politics.
I hear you.
Anything, they are ready to do anything to be able to do that.
Mr. Eze, I hear you, and good enough. We wanted to get a neutral perspective to this conversation. That's why we're not getting a representative from any of the factions, because we did that last week, and we got even from other political parties as well. Now, what do you make of the school of thought that says, well, maybe ADC is really nothing but an amalgamation of strange bedfellows, people with different ideas, different opinions, they fought in the past. Maybe many of them, or all of them, even want to be the #1 man on the ticket. How do you react to that?
So, of course, the postulation of the school of thought is not foreign to what we've seen in the past. So, is it only ADC? How was APC formed? The same thing. So even the PDP, and the problem is very simple. Our country, our political parties do not yet have ideology. So nobody knows any ideology. What's the ideology of ADC? We don't know. What's the ideology of APC in power? We don't know. They tell you progressive. So you are progressive, but you don't want to entertain opposing views. So PDP, what is the ideology? So Labour Party, what's the ideology? So all these parties, so our problem is systemic. Not until we have ideology. Where people from secondary school, we begin to have ideology. You remember Sikhism movement. So if we have an ideology, what is somehow close to that is the movement by the young people, where they are saying, we don't mind about party. And that was why I referred you to what your earlier anchor person said. The young people that I know today, they follow person, not party. And it's appeared there is a particular person they are following, that wherever he goes to, they say they will follow him. So that is close to becoming an ideology. So, but in Nigeria, what political parties is special purpose vehicle. SPV. So it's a vehicle you enter. That is why a governor will enter through a political party. Weeks after, he will jump and move to the other political party that they were all fighting during the election. The same with senators, the same with House of Reps. So the postulation that ADC is a conglomerate of people who just want a government out, that's all, for whatever reason best known to them, may not be wrong. Because we have seen that trajectory. Take, for example, the vice president, former vice president that is in ADC. You can see how many times from many parties he has moved to. And they always tell you that they have consulted with their people and they are moving to. Take many other persons. So now, that is why Nigerians is saying. Now, what may interest you to note is that there are candidates in APC. This government that most people are saying they are not doing well, there are candidates in APC that Nigerians will stoop their neck to vote for if be given that platform to decide who govern them. Because they know that that particular person earns their votes. Then also, it does not mean that all the persons in ADC that Nigerians will vote for. Nigeria is not fool. We are more enlightened now than before. That is why they say, this person I know, who are you? Just like the biblical, Jesus I know, Paul I know, who are you? So, it is not about party. That is how Nigerians have now come to. In fact, maybe in 2031, you will now see Nigeria will push for independent candidacy, so that all these stories, these things will now end. They know who they want to. So the ADC could be right. They've not proven otherwise, that they are not the same thing coming together. Of course, you still expect more, because after primary election, and those who have that desire to become #1 person, they may find another way again or work against the party.
Okay.
That is what we've always seen.
So we've had cases, because the crisis in the ADC appears to be a developing story. So we've had conversations on this, and previously we've heard some analysts tell us that a witch cries in the night and then a baby dies in the morning. So we're easily able to trace where the problem is coming from. So let me ask you, do you think that what is bedeviling the ADC right now, it's a deliberate attempt to push Nigeria into like a threat to democracy, to see that we operate in one party state, or a house with no foundation?
Of course, my position resonates with the position of Nigeria civil society situation rule. You would see that there has been a public statement to that effect. And that is that democracy cannot thrive. Democracy will not be democracy if there is no participation of oppositions. That has to happen. In fact, because the party in government was once in opposition. Even if tomorrow they leave and another party takes over, they too will also become an opposition. So he that lives in a glass house should not throw stone. Because you cannot remain. Was it not PDP that boasted of they will rule Nigeria forever? Where are they today? So, and that is why even all the conglomeration, gangatrium of governors, the capital, the ruling APC, is not going to mean that APC will remain in power. They may win next election if Nigeria permits that. It's left for Nigeria to decide. But that does not mean that one day they will not also vacate. So the issue that we must begin to tackle is that Nigeria is bigger than everyone. Nigeria is bigger than all. So you must, what you should do is to govern and govern well. You will talk less. You will not need to struggle. You will not need to do anything. Look at the killings. How many, are we even talking about how many people that will remain for the election? I don't think we should be discussing anything, but they have their diversionary tactics. They always use politics, the campaign and all these things to sway away our attention. So the issue with ADC and all that is happening, that they are pointing hands, for me, the issue will be both self-inflicted and also externally. Why did I say self-inflicted? Of course, possibly they do not play their internal homework very well. But of course, it's a big family. It is also not possible, in return, to have everybody, on the same table correctly. But when you look at what is the percentage of those who are saying no, to the public knowledge, then during the transition to back-led, it was only Kachiku and a few others. They saw people that were present. I'm not talking of those, it's issued by signature. For signature, it is left for forensic audit to validate. But people that Nigerians saw, they were there, series of meetings, media can also attest to that. So, but maybe there was some ill management of some persons, their desires, and all those things. Now, the external angle is very clear. It's not something that should be at the realm of whether we are still thinking or school of thought or postulation. Even though, of course, the party in power has already pushed back and said, no, our hands is not it.
All right, Mr. Eze.
Look at what is happening.
Mr. Eze, we have to SDP, run, but please, PDP, we would like that you Labour. Give us a way forward, because looking at the key dates for the 2027 general elections, INEC would say that party primaries, April 23rd to May 30, presidential campaigns will start in August 19, 2026, governorship, September 9th, and all of those. But my even primary concern is the party primaries, which should hold between April 23rd and May 30th of this year, 2026. I mean, we're in April already, over a week into April. What's the way forward now? What's the escape route for ADC so that they can present a candidate?
Now, the escape route is that the best lawyers, legal advisors, is that major blame is the judiciary. What does it take the judiciary to make a clear pronouncement in judgment? Why do you create a judgment that causes more confusion, bigger than even what was it earlier when they approached the court? Today, the major issue is antebellum, and everybody's interpreting. So do you mean that the court cannot clearly state that this is what is white is white, this is how you should place this thing, take it up and bring it like this? All right. And this will have brought the rest. So, but it seems as if all these things are deliberate.
So clear interpretation from the judiciary would save the day. Clear interpretation. Okay, I hear you. We'll be talking to Kenneth Eze, the executive lead Speak Out Africa initiative, and he's been talking to us on a neutral perspective, the development with the ADC. We'd like to thank you so much, Kenneth Eze, for your rich insight on the program this morning. Do have a good day.
God bless Nigeria.
Amen. All right, from that conversation, we'll now bring you entertainment and lifestyle today on Kakaaki, the African Voice.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment and Lifestyle on Kakaaki, the African Voice. I am Anu Awojobi. Let's take you to the city of Lagos at the recently held Lagos Fanti Carnival, a celebration of Afro-Brazilian cultural heritage, which symbolizes unity, resilience, artistic expression, showcasing the city of Lagos' unique identity, which dates back to the colonial era, when Yoruba Brazilian former slave returnees came home to reside in Lagos in the 19th century.
Very proud, I'm proud, I'm proud, I'm proud. I love the fact that we're celebrating our heritage and people are here. Everybody has come from all the nooks and crannies of Lagos to come and celebrate this heritage with us. We're going to keep this up and we're going to show that Lagos is where it begins and ends in tourism.
It's always been part of the culture of the old Lagos. We must respect, recognize, and appreciate our culture. We are the envy of the world. So we should now appreciate our own culture. You can see that our fabric has become so popular that even in United States they are now wearing baggy and red trousers. And our artists are now in control of the world music. So I'm very happy at the way Nigeria is selling itself culturally to the world.
Gathered at the iconic Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS, are traditional rulers, government officials, cultural ambassadors, captains of industry, policymakers, and fund seekers from within and outside the shores of Nigeria.
Lagos Fanti Carnival is one of the unique celebrations or carnivals or heritage that we have in Lagos. It is unique and peculiar to us because the Brazilians, the story actually started when the Brazilian returnees came back in the 1840s and they settled in a particular place of Lagos Island called Gbogbo Aguda. So there are different groups and there are different displays, they have different colors. But now it has evolved and Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu has invested a lot on this so that it can become something that is global and everybody around the world has registered. Many people are coming from different parts of the world. Diasporans are coming home, Lagosians, people that are outside Nigerians, you know, they want to come and experience the hospitality of Lagos.
Amazing. I mean, Lagos is like a very international city. So it's very nice. People are very nice, and I see that Nigerians love music, dance, art. Fun to see this festival where people are coming from different countries together for one purpose, which is to have fun and celebrate life and music and colors and festivals. So that's why I'm here.
It's really amazing. I love Nigeria, I love the culture, and I love these kind of festivals with music, dancing, colors, celebrating life.
And with one voice, the people have not only come to reflect on the cultural relationship between Nigeria and Brazil, but to party non-stop.
Fanti Carnival is a continuation of the heritage of the Afro-Brazilian descendants who came back from Bahia after being freed from enslavement in the 19th century. They came back, they settled, and they came back with food like feijão and mengao, and they came back and contributed a lot to how Lagos looked with the development of an architectural style called Afro-Brazilian architecture, such as Waterhouse, Holy Cross and unfortunately the recently burnt Shisabe Mosque.
I think what Governor Sanwo-Olu is doing is actually promoting our culture and tradition because it is golden and valuable. If you go to Brazil, if you go to Cuba, you will see the way they cherish their culture. And I think it's high time we, the Africa, and most especially Nigerian, to promote our culture and tradition. Because if we don't do it now, another country will hijack it from us and start doing it. So I'm using this opportunity to tell the whole world and people looking at me from home and abroad that we should cherish our culture and tradition because it is golden and valuable.
And trust, the energy was off the hook as Nigerian music stars Reminisce, Niniola, Terry Apala, among other entertainers, thrilled fun seekers to the best of tunes. From Lagos, I take you to Ilesha in Osun State at the unveiling of the Obokun-Gbusi Hall of Fame. It was a gathering of the creme de la creme of Ijesha land as Ilesha played host to a historic recognition of its most illustrious citizens. The unveiling of the Obokun-Gbusi Hall of Fame, performed by the Owa Obokun at the Mula of Ijesha land, Oba Clement Adesui Hastrop Ajimoko III, serves as a new cultural compass for the land. Addressing the audience, which included Governor Ademola Adeleke and other top traditional rulers, the monarch stated that the Hall of Fame is more than just a gallery. It is a foundation for inspiring future generations to emulate the excellence of the past.
The Hall of Fame ceremony is to appreciate Ijesha men and women whose activities and work have impacted on Ijesha land. We have to be today honor them for their foresight and also for them using them as points of encouragement for younger people to know that while it is admirable to be wealthy, such wealth must translate to the well-being of your own people.
The maiden induction saw prominent personalities recognized for their various interventions in sectors ranging from education to infrastructure. For the awardees, the honor is a call to further service for the growth of Ijesha land.
It's about the first time when a solid step like this is being taken to appreciate those who have contributed significantly to uplifting our values as Ijeshas and the development of the land. You know, all the inductees of today, you will see from their profile and from their contributions to the land, they are wonderful, super. They are no mean personalities, you know. Everybody knows they've merited whatever they have got.
We have a versatile king who wants to bring our Ijesha people back home, you know, to do things for the town, for the community. And I'm urging Ijesha people, even in the diaspora, to come and do something in their fatherland.
You cannot but be very proud as a son and know that our people appreciated what he stood for, and it's now the same thing Kabiyesi is advocating, that every Ijesha person, even in diaspora, should come home and foster the development and unity of Ijesha land.
My position when I ascend as the Salura of Ijesha land, I intend to bring back all our people in diaspora, and I'll be to visit them as well to tell them that Nigeria is a better place.
Organizers of the event emphasized that the platform will continue to tell the stories of those who defined the Ijesha spirit, ensuring that their legacies are immortalized in the Obokun-Gbusi Town Hall. And it's a wrap on entertainment and lifestyle. I am Anu Awojobi saying enjoy the rest of the day.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for doing your Wednesday morning with us at Africa Independent Television with our morning show, Kakaaki, the African Voice. It's been a worthwhile 3 hours, rich insights from different perspectives that we featured. Thank you so much. I'm on Nosho Rena Obozige, Rena OBO on social media. We'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy your Wednesday. Bye.